Will the Bengals take down the Rams in Super Bowl 56? Hi again, everyone. I'm James Rapien of allbengals.com and Cincinnati Bengals Talk, joined by Paul Dehner Jr. of The Athletic. Look at you, just rubbing your hands together like it isn't warm in Los Angeles. Let's talk about that. We leave cold Cincinnati with all this ice storm and snow. I still look at my ring, on my door, my Ring doorbell, and it's like, oh, there's snow. And then I look out. You enjoying the weather?
We're here. I've got a quarter zip long sleeve. You're wearing the denim, by the way, how about this, huh? You're wearing the denim. And so what are we doing? We look like people that just flew in here from Cincinnati trying to figure out how we're supposed to dress. But we're here in LA at the Super Bowl, and that's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, it is a really cool thing. And we're just a few days away from the big game. And what's your biggest concern? Is it Aaron Donald? Is it got to be Aaron Donald? Is it Von Miller? Is it the combination of Aaron Miller? Have you combined them on your podcast? What is it?
Vonald? Can we go with
Vonald?
That? Could Vonald be it? Yeah, I'll say this. I would love to have some really great, unique analysis here and some really great answer. Yes, of course. Of course it's Aaron Donald and Von Miller and those guys. That is what wrecks the game. It is ultimate strength on your primary weakness. Can Joe Burrow continue to Houdini his way to points? And maybe. How long do we have to watch the guy do it until we say, yeah, maybe he can do it? Donald obviously is a different beast. I don't know if he can do that or not, but I do think that that's also not the way that we've seen this team get here. Mm-hmm. To me, I look at Matt Stafford, ability to turn it over, consistently turns it over, has done it a bunch, and a team that has gotten here almost solely because of that. Mm-hmm. So can that overcome what happens with Donald? Can they get those big plays that they've gotten at every turn? Maybe, possibly. Again, I think those are the two variables that kind of hang out there to see which way this game swings.
Yeah, I think you bring up a good point, the composure part of it. Yeah, Aaron Donald might wreck the offense, and as long as Joe Burrow doesn't lose his composure and make those mistakes, turning the ball over, then the defense can be in position to make the plays that it's made, and it's been Jesse Bates, B.J. Hill, but it's been a new guy, it seems like every other quarter this postseason. They've stepped up, and I like that for Lou Anarumo's defense. I think they can contain this Rams offense, which is explosive, and probably force a few mistakes from Matt Stafford.
And that's what Matt Stafford has kind of done. He's on a decent run here, but if Jaquiski Tart catches a fly ball to center field, we're talking about Niners-Bengals Part 3. We're talking about Montana and Rice are walking behind us right now to go do Radio Row. But instead, we're here talking about this game because he dropped that ball. 4 of Stafford's last 7 interceptions have come at least 39 air yards. They're just arm punts that get caught. It's catch it, return it. Get yardage so it's not a punt, so it is something that sets you up into position. So if you have those opportunities, and Stafford will give you some, you got to make them. How many Eli Apple drops can you survive? And that's Eli has played great, but he has dropped interceptions that they have overcome. How many of those can you survive? You've got to make those opportunities when you have them because you don't know how many they will have.
Yeah, I totally agree on defense. And then on offense, I've talked to a lot of people this week, and they say run. Try to run the ball. Do you think this offense is capable of running the ball? We haven't seen it much, not consistently, not effectively. Is that realistic to run at Aaron Donald and try to go that route with this offensive line?
No, be who you are. Be who you have been that's gotten you here. That has been, look, hope he survives, right? But let him go make plays. Let him be Joe Burrow, and that means throw the ball, use your weapons. Yeah, he's going to take some hits. Yeah, he's going to have to get out of some stuff, but those plays where the pocket is clean, it's out there. It's out there to be had. Jamar Chase versus Jalen Ramsey is going to be a fascinating watch if they choose to set it up that way, the Rams do, and what the other side looks like. But either way, they've been so good at moving the ball, finding explosive plays when the pockets are clean, and even overcoming some of those sacks that you got to be that. This team hasn't run the ball well since Vegas.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been forever since they've been an efficient running game. So to think that they're suddenly going to come in here and Joe Mixon's going to run for 180 yards and they're just going to be a power running team, like, that's not who they are. That isn't who they have been. It's not the reason they're here. You don't get to this spot and abandon what got you here. What got you here is Joe Burrow. Fine, run it early downs to mitigate your risk on 2nd and 7 or whatever it is and not put yourself in 2nd and longs. I get that, but you still have to turn it over to Burrow, and I think they will.
Can this skill group as a whole, and that includes Mixon, this is kind of how I view it, because the offensive line is nowhere near what the Rams' defensive line is. It's the clear matchup of the game. But can Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon kind of make up for that and beat up on the secondary, essentially? Because I think Joe Mixon maybe through the air could have an impact, and that might be the way you get him involved. Can they make up for that and beat anyone not named Jalen Ramsey? And maybe Chase does get a few against Jalen Ramsey, but beat anyone not named Jalen Ramsey like a drum. Because if they do that, the same way Donald is going to beat the Bengals offensive line like a drum, I think it could balance out.
Yeah, I mean, they've been scheming up ways to minimize their weakness all year. I mean, all year they've been trying to do, whether it's quick game or whatever, chips, or bringing the tight end and the running back next to Burrow in the backfield. All these things they've used. The screens that were so effective against Kansas City, they're getting better at that. You use a bunch of screens. You use a lot of these tricks of the trade that you've found, and mitigate that risk. Then you make it about those weapons, and I don't think anybody can deny that they have the advantage there. I mean, there's Eric Weddle's out there. I mean, that's great. Like, his story is incredible, but
Sure.
Let's not act like he wasn't just at like Planet Fitness a month ago. You know what I mean? And so you got to take advantage. You have mismatches out there that you can make plays. So make it about that. And they've done that all year. I mean, this team is as professional as it gets as finding ways to minimize their offensive line's deficiencies. So they're going to have to do that on the biggest stage.
Did Eric Weddle have a black membership so he could get me in as a guest, or was it just the $10 one?
I'm pretty sure he was eating the Built Bars, right? Like, there's no doubt at this point.
Yeah, that's true. If he's playing in the Super Bowl, he's got to be eating Built Bars.
No doubt.
All right, last thing here. The exciting thing to me, because the Rams were built for this, right? They were built. Someone trips in front of us. The Rams were built to win the Super Bowl.
That guy was not
But,
built for this. Not built for walking through.
Yeah, I hope you guys heard that. Yeah, and maybe you didn't, but it's funny to us.
He's okay.
Anyways, they were built to win the Super Bowl this year. They invest all these picks and everything like that, and you get Odell, you get Von Miller, all of that. Meanwhile, the Bengals, they're a surprise. Nobody, honestly, expected them to be here. They're here. The exciting thing for me is that mindset, having that attitude with a guy in Joe Burrow who thinks he's going to win, and you have Zach Taylor and Brian Callahan with 2 weeks. And I get, Sean McVay has the same 2 weeks and everything like that, but 2 weeks to cook up something. You talk about scheme and stuff. I hope we see some wrinkles.
They've never shied away from trick plays. I mean, this is the team of the fake flea flicker in Vegas and things like that. And I would think, especially if you're struggling to get something going, empty it. Empty every play that you've been holding on to. Tyler Boyd should be throwing a pass at some point. You should be running reverses and whatever you want to do. Like, empty it. If the conventional stuff isn't working, then let's see the gadgets. Bring them all out. Why would you not? Let's look. I remind people of this all the time. The Super Bowl, one of the biggest plays in the Super Bowl when the Eagles broke the drought. The Philly special was cooked up by Press Taylor, Zach Taylor's younger brother, in Press's Vault, as it was known then in Philadelphia. He came up with all these trick plays, and they saved it for a huge spot. That's kind of like the same thing. I mean, it's in your blood, right? Like, pull it out, not being afraid to pull it out in a big spot. Zach Taylor was going to run the flea flicker and the fake flea flicker in his first game of his professional head coaching career in Seattle. He's not afraid to come in here in the Super Bowl if he has one that he feels like is going to work and trot it out. And let's be honest, there's a good chance if the game's being wrecked by this defensive line, you're going to need a couple of them. So, yeah, I wouldn't be stunned at all if we saw something like that.
Does Kevin Huber throw a pass?
Ooh, wow. I have seen Kevin Huber throw hundreds and hundreds of passes at every single camp practice I've ever been to the entire time. I've never seen him have an incompletion. Of course, he's never tried to stop it. Mm-hmm. maybe this is the day that it finally happens.
Yeah.
Maybe this is the day it finally happens.
Would be wild. Either way, he's going to have your coverage all week long through Sunday and afterwards for The Athletic. Hear that podcast growling. Appreciate the time, man.
It's just good for us to be together and me to be next to someone that can pull off denim like this. I mean, just incredible.
You think I'm pulling it off?
There is no doubt.
Do you think I'm pulling it off? I was asking them. Oh, you were just nodding to them.
Nodding to them.
Oh, okay. We'll be back next time. This was such a fun video. Thanks, Paul.